Do you think maybe we should do some more production with our podcast?
No.
Okay.
I didn't write it on him anymore. What's wrong with me?
Oh, loser.
Stroke Me was 76.
Right.
Then they were 77, so we're 78.
All right, 78. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to Lisa Beats Your Meat.
Wow.
Episode 78.
78 indeed.
Yeah, that's
Essential.
right. Getting deep in some meat tonight.
Wow.
Or the other way around, if you know what I mean.
Wow. I'm not even gonna. I was gonna work that out verbally, but I'm not going to.
No, probably shouldn't. 'Cause it's got to be worked out physically.
All right.
Okay. So, anyways, tonight we're
Cheers.
back. Cheers.
You can pick up that glass of whiskey. It's so large. Ooh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just like whiskey.
It's
Sorry,
fine.
I'm super cool.
We know.
Anyways, tonight's episode is about horseshoe crabs, right?
I think so, yeah. We got two things here.
Horseshoe crabs and red meat and how they're surprisingly intertwined.
Not at all.
Kicker, they're not.
We could
Pretend. Anyways,
find a way.
before we get into this, which it's a really interesting topic, is just a little heads up on our life. We're finishing. Sorry, we've been MIA. Jimmy's been dying. I think he has AIDS or something.
I think I beat it, though.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Good for you.
Magic Johnson style.
Got those drugs?
I don't know if our listeners are ready for AIDS jokes.
It's been long enough.
Okay.
Anyways, Jimmy's had some sort of sinus issue. You had like the flu, and then immediately after having the flu, you got a cold.
Oh,
And you're
it's
just
terrible.
like, now that we're in like a public forum, I can tell you, I think I told you this when I was drinking before, that you just get really mad at the world when you're sick.
Yeah.
And so you get mad at like me, like I'll be like, how do you feel? And you're like, "Grr, crappy. And I'm like, well, did I do something to
It's
you?
just like I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, well, there's nothing else to talk about.
I know. It's not your fault.
Hey, Bob, can you say hi?
Okay. Time out. Okay. Sorry for that interruption. Kids are so annoying.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
So I was
I'm the
sick.
one that was up at 4 a.m. Anyways, Jimmy was sick, and so he was grumpy and didn't want a podcast.
I was dying.
You were also really sick.
I was.
It just really disrupted our whole life. But we also have this house that's like 98% done.
It would be done if I didn't get sick. That's
Yeah,
annoying,
done
too.
to get it on the market
I had
and
to take
sell
sick
it.
days to be sick, which I'm not used to.
Some BS.
And that's the other thing. Like, we're pretty healthy. Why? Like, if I thought about this after, so I went to go get medicine because I knew I had something that needed to be knocked out with, antibiotic or something. I don't know. I feel like you can just tell.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. It could
When
be,
I
it
went
could be
to
a placebo effect or something.
Maybe it is, but when I went to the doctor, I thought I wasn't dying, but I was so sick.
Yeah, and then
Ugh.
they gave you antibiotics, and like 15 minutes later, you're like, I'm good,
Yeah.
fine.
I honestly.
So I went to the same doctor that, I don't know what too much antibiotics is, but
When's the last time you had antibiotics?
2 years ago.
Okay.
But
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that threshold.
Is once a year
Too much?
to have, which I didn't take them today.
God damn it, Jimmy.
I forgot.
That's not okay.
Is once a year too much? And if
that's a
it's
good question.
If it's not, can we just start like a database and say you're allowed over the counter once a year? I don't know. Like, it's just annoying. Or can I walk into a doctor? I didn't do this. I walk in and I say, here's my symptoms. They've been going on this long. These are the things that I've learned to say to you to get you to give these to me. Can I just walk into a doctor and say, hey, I need antibiotics? Should I just try that next time?
No.
And then say,
I don't think that
here's
would
why.
fly.
Because it's always awkward.
I think it would be you have to say your symptoms and then they come to the conclusion.
I don't know. I was super annoyed because this woman who was a PA, she wasn't even a doctor.
What's a PA?
Physician's assistant. It's like one step below doctor. They can write scripts or whatever.
I thought that was a nurse practitioner.
I don't know who's higher on the rung. Can a nurse practitioner write a script?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. PA can too. But she just had this look in her eyes like, you're full of shit. You know, my dad was a PA for a little while.
A PA?
He was a PA.
He was a paw?
And then he became a salesman. But she had this look in her eyes like, you're full of shit.
And you were like, yes, I am. That's another problem that we need to talk about.
Yes. No.
I'm just kidding.
And like this little like toot about it. And I was just like, listen, lady.
You're sick.
Yeah, I didn't come in here just because I
came here to scam you out of antibiotics.
Yeah, I want to go home and like snort antibiotics to get high or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm clearly sick. I think I need something. I came to the doctors for this.
Yeah.
You know, if it was just a cold, I don't know. It's really annoying. Okay. So a whole nother week goes by of me being
because you were
ridiculously sick, and I get more and more sick. And then I went to a doctor again, and he was like, "Oh yeah, gives me something," and then
now you're better.
Good to go.
Now you're better?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Taught all day today, which is tiring.
Rough go about. You know what's tiring is taking care of these kids all darn day, bro.
I've heard that.
Literally, Max was up at 4 and took a 10-minute nap today, and now is asleep, which I should be too because I was awake that whole time too, taking care of another one that's running around like a maniac. They're just maniacs. They're crazy. I know, you know, it's not cool, but like, can I like give them up for like a year or something? Like, I can't. Maybe like. Sometimes like I look at them and I'm just like, I can't deal with you guys.
You couldn't be away for a night. You had a chance to be away for a night or two.
I know.
You didn't take it.
I'm full of it. I couldn't leave my babies. Who else would take care of them? They're crazy, you know?
Yeah, that's true. They need you.
They do.
I could handle them for 2 nights.
You couldn't. But you know what they would do? They'd be watching movies the whole time, eating.
We'd go to the park.
Eating like grilled cheeses.
We'd do things.
Okay.
They wouldn't be eating well, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. Food. Yeah. We don't need to talk about food. Anything new?
Food-wise?
Yeah. Anything sticking out to you? Tonight we had tacos.
Yeah,
they were really good.
Hit.
It was kind of like, it was a different type of taco. We had buffalo chickpea tacos, but it was all like, I didn't heat anything up besides the corn tortilla, corn versus flour. Obviously, flour tastes better. Like when hundo.
I don't know.
You think corn holds a candle to flour?
I do. Well, it's kind of like I didn't.
That like processed white tortilla, the flour tortilla, like that. Just like it hits that like serotonin in my like brain that it's like, ooh, this is gonna be glucose soon. Like I love it.
Yeah, I was about to say like that I prefer wheat bread to white bread, but it's more of like I just don't have white bread. I think the last time I sunk my teeth into white bread, I was like,
my parents' house.
Wow, that was.
Do you know my mom still buys white bread?
It's really
which
weird.
is bizarre because she's so forward thinking about so much nutrition wise, and she also
it's good.
She makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Do you know what she puts on there?
No.
Butter.
Ew.
It's peanut butter, jelly.
That's
vegan
butter.
So, okay, but if we can take it back to like my childhood, I never ate those because starting at the first grade, I made my own peanut butter jelly sandwiches. So I'd never
You didn't put that on there?
No, I would never think to put butter on it. And actually, James the other day, we got into a fight because we get in fights a lot. But he was like, "Can I put butter on my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Come on, you don't let me do anything."
Why didn't you let him?
Because butter's not like. Let's just add that in for no other reason.
Where did you get that idea?
From my mom.
Because
because we had like a picnic and she was handing out peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh.
It was just a weird concept.
Never heard of such a thing.
I don't know.
I used to get grossed out because my friend's mom, they made like peanut butter and honey sandwiches.
That's delicious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, with some bananas.
But still.
Throw a nanner on there. That's a superhero. That's what Bob calls superpower sandwiches. Sometimes when I ask Bob, like, what do you want for lunch? He'll be like, well, it's usually butter jellies. Butter jellies is peanut butter jelly. And but sometimes he'll be like, I want a superpower. It's just superpower sandwich. And we'll be like, what's on it? And he just lists every ingredient he knows in his head.
That's funny.
We'll be like bananas and pretzels.
We went to Home Depot yesterday and you wanted super glue. So I got you some super glue and I gave it to him. We were in the car. This is for Mama. What's this say, Dad? What's this called, Dad? And I said, it's glue. He said, oh, glue. I said, it's super glue. And he was like, it's not super glue. It's us fucking with him. It's like, where does it say that? It's like, it says glue. It's like, no, it's super glue. It's really super glue.
Oh my God. They're so funny. Like they're lunatics, but they are hilarious. Like Bob really does like
kids can be funny.
Say stuff to me all day that I'm just like, excuse me, what?
No, get used to it.
Yeah, I guess it's starting. They're funny interacting with each other. Not to like go down that, but
enjoy it while you can.
I don't know. They love each other a lot.
Kicking each other's asses before you know it.
I think so, but they really love each other. They've been nothing but love. So knock on wood, that's good. So anyways, we're busy getting this house on the market, trying to sell it for $1 million. Just kidding. Like a $250,000, close to it.
No.
Like a
We're not to that level
like
yet.
an eighth of $1 million.
Yes, more than an eighth.
What's an eighth of $1 million?
Well, a quarter is 250.
Yeah.
So an eighth would be what, 125?
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
More than that. We're gonna put some stacks in our bank account, though. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah.
No more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for me.
Like some dents in your credit cards.
Nah, no, bro. Buying some saffron at the grocery store.
Well, the podcast is paying so well.
Maple.
I don't have to worry about it.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna buy some vanilla extract.
That's something you.
I avoid.
Good times.
It's $1 million an ounce.
Well, we'll have that sold in.
Segue. Do you know what else is super expensive?
Oh.
Dun, da, da, da. Horseshoe crab blood.
Yes.
So I was the one that came up with this, and I'm just going to tell what I know, and then you're going to fill in the details, okay?
Okay. Lisa's been obsessed with this.
I did. I like started talking about this to one of your coworkers last Friday, and they literally were like glazed eyes, like, well, they were probably really high, but I was like, do you know that people use horseshoe blood and stuff? And they were like I saw in their head there was just like, I can't go with you on this.
Yeah,
journey.
I don't know, like
I don't know where you're going, but I can't.
You've been very excited about this, and I'll be honest, I've heard nothing of the sort.
No,
but I did my homework and I researched it, and it's fairly interesting. But
it's super interesting.
You're very interested in it.
How is it not?
So maybe other people will be.
It's an issue with horseshoe crabs.
I still don't understand one aspect of it, but go ahead.
What don't you understand? Let me answer.
The cost.
Why it's so expensive? Because the extraction.
It doesn't seem that hard.
There's a high demand. It has to be put on every single. This substance has to be put on anything that's put inside a human body.
All right,
has
you
to be
explain
tested
it, and I'll
with
tell
this.
you where I get confused.
Okay, so horseshoe crabs. Let's just start back in the beginning.
Dinosaurs.
The beginning of time. Dinosaurs roaming around. Dom, dom, dom. I'm just kidding. Horseshoe crabs were around. Horseshoe crabs have been around since dinosaurs. Like all the dinosaurs. Like
they're just like a
all
crab
those,
with a giant shell on them.
Yeah, they're terrifying. And they're big.
Pretty weird looking.
They're like a horseshoe crab, like, I'd say that spans like 2 feet. What is that? Small? And then they got that tail.
Yeah.
Which that tail is for flipping over.
Huh.
Did you know that?
I did not.
It's not necessarily like a weapon or like a, to fight off people or,
yeah.
predators or whatever. It's more so, I think their shell kind of does that. They're kind of like turtles in that aspect.
What
But
do other animals use them for? Well, cows swat flies.
Yeah.
Why do dogs have them?
Have a tail? I think just swatting bugs and stuff. I knew a girl that had like a little nub, and she was like, "It's my tail." Ha ha ha. And I was like, "That's disgusting."
I could use one to swat the bugs in our house away from us.
The giant spiders that we have. Anyways, so these horseshoe crabs, you know what we're talking about. Giant shells, pointy tail like thingy. Their blood is blue. Why is it blue?
Do you know?
Because of the copper?
Yes.
Yeah. Why is copper?
There's copper in it, apparently.
This is okay. Do you know why that makes it blue, though? Because, I thought, our blood is blue inside of us, and then when it reaches oxygen, it turns red? Or is our if you look at your vein, it's blue,
Yeah.
So, I think, the blood inside of us is blue, but then once it hits oxygen, it turns red. Is that a thing?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Do you know why?
No. Well, so I don't know. This is the color, I guess. So vertebrates, which should be us, we have white blood cells in our bloodstream.
And red blood cells.
And invertebrates, like a horseshoe crab, carry ambiocytes instead. When an ambiocyte comes in contact with a pathogen,
it clots.
Which is what you were talking about, which is like some kind of bacteria or something that could cause a disease, or
it's like a chia seed, right? Like it encapsulates the bacteria.
Yes.
So it's like
causes that clot.
It's like a clot, but it's like if you've ever put chia seeds in water, they form there's like a gelatinous ball around the chia seeds. So that's what this blood does.
I don't know. I don't think that tells you why it stays blue, but
I think sure. I think the blue is the presence of copper. I don't know. I don't know.
There's copper in there, yeah.
Okay. But
what's it good for?
Yeah, that's what we're going for, I guess. Is that okay, as I understand it, and I just read a thing, I wasn't really that in depth about it, but as I understand it, is that in our body, if we have veins and we have extremities and we have clotting mechanisms and we have ways of saving our body. Yes. There's multiple things that happen. If we get a giant cut on our leg, our body will be oh, okay, we're going to scab that off so you don't just keep bleeding off unless you have some sort of disease. There's safety measures on our body to make sure we don't just bleed out. We have red blood cells, white blood cells, and those clot, and that means it'll stop the bleeding, right?
Yes.
Unless you're a hemophilia, and then that doesn't happen.
You don't have that clotting, yeah.
Right? I wonder if hemophilias take horseshoe crab blood.
No, it's not used to give to people.
Okay. Anyways, horseshoe crabs don't have veins or anything. They have their blood is kind of just floating inside their tissue and their muscle and their bodies.
Yeah.
Do they have muscles or is it just tissue? They're ripped horseshoe crabs, or they're just is what it is.
Well, it's like any crab. It's just
what if there's
all muscle, isn't it? I don't know.
What if there was a crab that just walked a lot or something? Would it have more muscle than another? Do other animals have that ability besides mammals? Can there be a fat spider or a skinny spider?
A lazy spider? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's
not a spider.
Okay. Well, let's not talk insects then. Clam, a crab,
a lizard.
Yeah.
Big fat lazy lizard.
Yeah, there's just a little.
Yeah, they have muscle and stuff.
Okay. Anyways, the blood in the horseshoe crabs are just sloshing around, right? So if something happens and they start to quote unquote bleed, their blood will clot up immediately. And that's what's so useful or that like component. I think it's called like the LAL stuff.
Yeah.
That
So
the component is what's useful for detecting bacteria and used in like medicinal purposes, right?
yes, you got it. So the FDA and anything that's being tested on humans, so like needles or drugs or any sort of medication or some kind of anything you're going to put into the human body, essentially there's a risk that it's going to have pathogens in it, like bacteria or like salmonella or something that could kill somebody immediately, or something that could cause
Bob's shutting his door. We're being too loud.
Sorry to interrupt you, Bob.
Shut the door.
Some endotoxins.
Uniposit.
Yes. So that there's ambiocytes in the horseshoe crab blood that solidifies when it comes in contact
with a bacteria.
Yes, endotoxins, which is deadly bacteria that could cause like your immune system to kick into gear, causing like a fever, organ failure, or even like septic shock. Like your body thinks
septic shock. Wait, that's what it's called? Septic shock?
Septic shock, yeah.
Septic systems?
Well, that's so different. Yeah.
Okay.
But your body thinks it's in panic mode, so it could go into these terrible side effects that you could get from, having a weird bacteria go into your body. So you have to make sure that there isn't
that on something that's going into your body.
Yeah.
Like a pacemaker.
So before.
Or a stent. Or just any sort of device or any sort of thing that's in your body.
Correct. Right? Or even a medicine.
They put it in a medicine? Doesn't your digestive system?
Let them test it first. This is the testing process. Okay. This is all like before it goes to people. So what they used to do is they would have some rabbits around. Mm-hmm. And whatever they were using, they would give to the rabbit.
They just pour it in the rabbit's eye.
And then just have to wait. See what happened to the rabbit. And if the rabbit was okay, then
that was cool.
Then they figured it was safe.
Well, when did horseshoe crab blood come around? And who fucking figured this shit
That's
out?
the weirdest thing. I have no idea. I tried to even research that. Like, who finds this stuff out? But I guess science gets pretty in-depth. And
like, I know what we should do. Let's take the horseshoe blood. I don't know. That's bizarre.
Oh, yeah, you see what it does, and then you think that, it could help you here or there.
Okay.
So, yeah, they tested it in rabbits. But now they can use these ambiocytes from the horseshoe crab blood. And, yes, I don't know who
invented it.
Would figure that out. But I guess we're not scientists. Mm-hmm. But you got to put 2 and 2 together. But apparently,
I would imagine that like
there's a problem out there.
They opened up a horseshoe crab and they're like, "Why is this blue?"
There's other things that have blue blood too, but I don't think they're as big as horseshoe crabs.
That's like a phrase, blue bloods.
Oh, they're like crustaceans.
What's the phrase "blue bloods" in reference to? I thought that was like a Yankee.
Blue bloods?
You ever heard that?
Idea. No.
Okay.
I can ask our technology team to Google it though.
Oh, Josh, could you look up what a blue blood is?
I'd do my best Josh voice, but yes, Lisa, I will. But our Wi-Fi sucks big balls.
It sucks blue blood?
It's a show. It's like about cops.
Oh, maybe that's where it was ringing a bell.
Police Commissioner Tom Selleck.
Anyways.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so they
people listening to this that watch the show, they're like, these freaking idiots.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyways, they found the blue blood, or not the blue blood, the horseshoe crab blood, and it helps detect bacteria or whatever. And now it's used on these medical devices, right?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Long story short, they figured out that this is better than putting this into rabbits. So now you got to go get horseshoe crabs and take their blood.
So this part is what I think people should be concerned with, is because I think that horseshoe crabs are like Okay, in the United States, we might be doing our due diligence, or other developed countries doing our due diligence to try not to decimate the population. But in some countries, they're not doing that, and they're using horseshoe crabs for their blood, and they're just like eating them afterwards.
Did you read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
This is pretty much, from my understanding, mostly just us doing this, using this.
No, other countries are doing this.
Are they?
Yeah, I 100%
I didn't read anything about
that
other countries,
China would take the horseshoe crabs and have the same kind of process, but they just then, instead of putting the horseshoe crabs back, they just eat them. Like raw on the table. They just flip them over, and all the scientists are like, oh, it's lunchtime. Pass the salt. Crack it open.
Have you ever had crabs?
I'm just kidding. No, that's actually not what they do. But
pretty good. I don't know if a horseshoe crab is good.
Oh my God. So to extract the blood, they go and find wild horseshoe crabs. And we'll put like the picture up with this show. It's insane looking.
Yes. Sorry. According to the internet,
what?
Horseshoe crabs are found around the United States, live in the Atlantic Ocean along the North American coastline, and can also be found along the East and Gulf Coast of the United States and Mexico.
They're only in the United States?
I don't know. That was just what Google's like quick response was.
That's just like because we live in the United States. Google used
they know this is where I'm
your location.
Looking at from.
Anyways, so horseshoe crabs can live outside of the water for 4 days without dying, and so scientists try to do this. Yeah. Did you not research this? Anyways, scientists try to do this whole process of draining the blood within 4 days, and they take them, they put them on, a little, prop them up.
There's some weird pictures.
Yeah, and they like get them right in the insides, drain. I think it was either 30% or 70%.
30%.
30% of their blood. And then they take them back and they send them off into the ocean.
So that's what we do, yeah.
But here's the problem with that. Is that, one, I read that 30% of them die in that process.
At least, yeah.
By like mistake or...
by the
stepped
travel
on
the
one
movement.
Or like something went wrong that just like wasn't supposed to go wrong but did go wrong. So 30% die out the gates. 70% get back, right?
To the water, yeah.
To the water. But you don't have 30% of your blood, and I don't know if anybody listening, I don't know who's listening, but if you've ever had blood loss, you feel it like a lot.
You're weaker.
Yeah, like way weaker. Like your whole...
I don't think I've ever had 30% blood loss, but they said that
drained.
It takes them a couple weeks
to get back to normal. But how are you out in the wild?
And they don't really know. Like, it's not like they're following it around to see how it survives. They're just judging this based on overall.
Because they don't care about the horseshoe crab.
Do they not care? Because I'm thinking like... I'm not sure here. So if you're not sure what's happening to these things and you're going through all this work... why not just take 100% of the blood?
Because it'll just kill them.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So, like, you're taking 30% of the blood, and then there's a 30% chance that it's going to die. So, if you took 100% of its blood, and it's 100% it's going to die, aren't you kind of at the same point? You have 3 times as much blood, and only one died. Instead of having 1/3 the amount of blood and still having a 1/3 chance it's going to die. And who the hell is this compassionate about a horseshoe crab?
No.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be.
I've never been that good at math.
But like, why doesn't, I don't know, like what other industry out there is like, oh, we're just going to take a little bit and we're going to put it back. And this is the federal government, FDA. We're concerned about things we're putting in humans' bodies. But they don't want to run out of them, obviously.
Right. Okay. Well, but here's the weirdest component, I guess, of this that kind of parallels that is that the substance, I think it's called LAL. I don't remember what that stands for.
Yes.
But LAL, is what they're getting from the blood that is so useful. They can synthetically make it now.
Yes. So this is.
So it's like, but I read
it's on the way out.
But I read that, they figured out how to synthetically make it, but instead of just being, oh, okay, cool, we don't need to do this to horseshoe crabs anymore. They were like, we don't trust that the lab's gonna make it. So
I think you
we
were
have
saying
to keep
that
doing it.
there's only one lab.
Okay.
So they can't put all their faith in that because there's a lot of dependence on this process, and it's very important to be able to make sure that things you're putting in bodies.
Yeah.
The other option
yeah.
is stick it into rabbits, so that these companies fear that if this company doesn't work out, there won't be any backup. So if they put all their investment into that,
Okay.
but there's more and more coming. So
there is more coming.
that was kind of like
we should all invest.
the happy ending, I guess.
We should invest in synthetic LAL.
Yeah, so it's
Lol.
LOL, called for factor C, was responsible for its clotting action. And then they modified the guts of insects, though. So I don't know how vegan you are, but this isn't really synthetic. So they took insects and they genetically modified their guts that belong to the same phylum as a horseshoe crab. Believe it or not, a horseshoe crab is more similar to a lot of insects than it is to
other invertebrates,
animals in the ocean. So they produced that factor C, and then the insects, because they were modified, started pumping. They could get these insects to pump this stuff out, and then they can be sold.
So it's made out of insects.
Substitute to horseshoe crab. So it's still not vegan. We've talked about this. Is an insect an animal?
I don't know.
I
don't know, but
definitely an animal. But
Lisa
kills spiders.
Insects.
She thinks.
What's that called when you're like mean to one thing? I discriminate against spiders.
Yes.
But like only giant black scary ones.
Okay.
No.
Some more editing tomorrow.
No, you don't need to edit
Just
that.
kidding.
Like there's little house spiders, and even like I saw one of those that was like a nickel size. I let it be. I was like, oh, cute. I don't know. That doesn't bug me. But for some reason, we have some wolf spiders running around here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, man. This is my house. You gotta go.
Not saving those in a jar and taking them outside.
No, but the house. But you know what I mean in like a house spider. Like it's like yellowish kind of, like it's a little
those don't bother me. Daddy Longlegs don't bother me. I felt bad.
I used to lick Daddy Longlegs' legs.
No, you didn't. Why?
Because they taste like peppermint. Because I was like vying for attention from day one.
Clearly.
Anyways, but the wolf spiders, I don't fucking like them.
They look dangerous.
They're so. Oh.
I think there's a natural. If it makes you feel like you're in danger, there's probably something. They can bite you and stuff, can't they?
Yeah, they're terrifying. Anyways, so this LAL synthetic is made from insects. That's frustrating.
Genetically modified insects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
But it leaves the horseshoe crabs alone.
Okay. So I guess my point of bringing the horseshoe crabs, and we don't need to it's not like the most interesting thing in the world.
Reflection moment on this
is just that it's upsetting. When you just live your life and you think you're just doing you, but when in reality, you impact. You didn't even realize that, maybe you got horseshoe crab blood,
You didn't, but you probably had things in you that,
we're tested by it.
That kind of goes back to the whole,
it's hard to.
What is a vegan? It's impossible to completely.
Get rid of your impact?
Yes, to completely avoid some kind of exploitation of animals. And should we?
Yeah.
But that's impossible. I mean, I've heard you can't even like
beetles are ground up in red dye.
Yeah, and asphalt at some point in its process might have some effect on animals. Do you not drive on streets anymore?
Right.
It's tricky, but I mean, obviously
I don't.
We've gone through many reasons why this is the best choice, being vegan. But
right.
Who would have thought that you might have an impact on horseshoe crabs, based on what kind of medical
devices
history you've had.
Right. Well, I mean, I'd like to see horseshoe crabs stick around. You know, they've been here since the dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're clearly important.
They are. You're like, that was your face, like, I don't know why, but I think they're important. It's not like you can pet them or anything.
I see them at the Outer Banks when we go there.
Yeah.
Not alive. They're usually just dead on their shells or wash up after they die, and they're pretty neat looking.
They're neat looking. But yeah, that's horseshoe crabs.
It's a weird one.
It was weird. It seemed really bizarre. I tried to talk to my dad about that.
You're just like, shut up, Lisa.
He really did. Yeah. He was like, sometimes I'll listen to what you say, but right now.
Definitely not. How many people did you try to talk to about horseshoe crabs?
Everyone. Because I stay at home with my kids all day, Jimmy.
And listen to podcasts, apparently.
Yeah, and like read and watch documentaries. I think I need to
watch cool movies that your husband might want to watch too.
Jesus Christ. I think I need, I don't even care. I'm going to watch all the movies, and I'm not going to wait to watch all the shows, because this is what always happens is I start watching a show, and then I'm like, oh, Jimmy would really like this. And then I'm like, hey, Jimmy, watch the show. And then you're like, oh, I love it. Then I'm like, okay, episode 2. And you're like, oof, I gotta go. I can't watch it. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I got 30 minutes when both my kids are sleeping.
There's very few shows that I enjoy.
Oh my God. All right. No, I don't feel bad, and I'm watching shows, and I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do.
Watching like an Academy Award-winning movie that I wanted to see.
No. I'm going to reiterate this before we go to our next topic is that I stay home with our children.
Yes.
I made a choice to give up my life to stay home with our children. And granted, it's super important, and I love it, but a whole part of me is not there anymore. So if I want to watch a goddamn TV show whenever the fuck I want to,
Whoa.
I will.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about red meat now.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to do this too?
Yeah.
This one gets a little complicated.
So we'll high energy, Jimmy.
We'll keep it very simple.
Well, you literally were like, oh, you want to do this one too? Okay.
I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Okay.
We should split a contract.
Yeah, and I'll go to work. No, I don't want to go to work.
There's a way that Lisa and I, in our district, you are allowed to split a contract with another teacher. So 2 teachers could be the same teacher, and you could take turns going to work. Whose crazy ass idea is this?
That's a great idea, though.
Why?
Because
what's the benefit in that?
It would benefit for us.
For us, it'd be amazing. But why does this exist?
I don't know.
Like 2 humans, like me and my bro, could be like, "Hey, dude, you teach social studies? Yeah, I teach social studies. We're just going to be the same teacher next year. We'll only get paid half as much, but we can just take turns." What if you were in that class?
I don't know.
Like, oh, it's Mr. So-and-so today. Oh, it's Mr. So-and-so.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, but like our friends.
But you can do this.
Like our coworkers or whatever, your coworkers, my old coworkers, tried to convince me to do it with him. And I was like, dude, you're a science teacher.
Same subject.
I'm a social studies teacher. Like, it wouldn't work.
He's so
like, no,
bizarre.
It's great. It's also the same one.
Can you imagine the conversations we'd have, though, if that was us? Like,
yeah.
how would we decide? We'd have to,
be like, Chris was on my last nerve.
We'd have to flip coins every day, or like...
Yeah. No, it wouldn't work. I quit that district because I didn't like the shit that was going on, and I wanted to stay home with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I could understand if I left a job that I really liked, maybe that would work. But I left a job that it had run its course with me and my emotions.
And
like,
I have a lot of sympathy for what you do every day. But remember, I'm still going into that place every day.
You still go.
That shitty job.
It's a shitty job, but you still leave. You still talk to your coworkers. You still have friends. Do you know my friends are my kids right now at home. True. I have no coworkers. Okay,
you can go to happy hour tomorrow.
I'm doing that. No, I'm over that. I'm doing that yoga thing. Okay, I'm going to San Domingo, or I don't know where it is, but I'm doing it. Okay,
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, I don't care. It could be in Iran right now. I'm going.
Do it.
Okay.
Okay.
You might need to edit that out.
Eat more red meat.
Says
Says some crazy clickbait article. I like to bring these up on our podcast because maybe I'll put this in the title. So we'll get to this point because if you are a vegan and anytime an article comes out that shits on veganism or promotes meat, anyone that you know probably sends it to you.
Again, no one did.
No?
To me. No.
Really?
God.
You need some friends. What a loser.
So upset with myself right now.
But no, you probably have friends and they're just nice. Like I'm a guy. Guys are dicks.
Okay.
And especially when it comes to veganism. But I feel like I'm so like cool and awesome that like this is all anyone has on me. So
Is being vegan?
yeah, so I like to.
Oh no, because you're kind of like. Can I say queer? Is that
Yeah, that's the other
queer?
thing.
Is queer back?
No, queer's never back.
Because I always thought queer was like one of the worst ones.
No, queer was like normal. It was in like books when I was little.
Okay, you're kind of queer in that you're like not. I don't mean like homosexual queer.
Like
queer.
metrosexual.
No, not even metrosexual. Just you're kind of. It's like if someone put like a dork in really tight pants.
Did you know this before you married me, or did
That
this slowly develop after our marriage? Did you realize this about me?
No, you were more queer before I married you.
Just making sure you knew what you were getting into. But yeah,
I'm just kidding.
veganism and tight pants. Those are.
Yeah.
It always if we're.
You just have a weird sense of confidence about
it. If
it.
I'm riffing with my bros and it comes back to me, it's my gay ass tight pants and my veganism.
And your veganism.
Yeah.
What do you do to combat it? You like look at my 6-pack
that's come up before.
in my fridge.
Like you're all fat.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you drink fucking Trulies,
Oh
and
my
I
God,
drink
I can't.
real beer, and I
can't.
still have a 31-inch waist.
Look, I've said
And
this
then
before.
they don't want to make fun anymore.
Yeah. You can't like bring it all out. You gotta give a little bit. Take it on the chin, bro. But the Trulies and the White Claws and all that stuff, like, oh my gosh, it annoys me so much. Like, it's one thing if you are dedicated to cutting every excess carb or calorie. Okay, some people, that's what they need, and that's good. That's fine. But like to eat like Wendy's and then go home and have a White Claw.
Yeah.
Where is the thought process?
Yeah, it's like people who eat double bacon cheeseburgers and then get a Diet Coke with it.
I can't. Anyway,
so that's what we're talking about.
Red meat. So there's an article.
This is another one of those weird articles that comes out that tries to promote something terrible. You remember like a few years ago when butter all of a sudden was healthy again?
In coffee, right?
No, that was a different thing. That's
Oh.
like the keto thing.
Oh.
But do you remember that? Well, anyways.
Well, my mom got the memo because she started putting in peanut butter.
Well, this was the same. We'll get to this. But this is the same organization that put this out.
Yeah.
So an article comes out in the New York Times, which is an interesting periodical these days. But the New York Times quotes this study that was done by the Annals of Internal Medicine. I had to look that up. ANNALS.
Annal.
I'll call it the Annals of Internal Medicine.
Oh.
But the Annals of Internal Medicine. They published this group of articles saying that the current consumption levels of red and processed meat, despite the fact that they're associated with cancer and other health problems, maybe that isn't
As
I didn't
dire.
say that right. That previously we've thought that they're more related to cancer and other health problems, but maybe they're not as bad as we think.
Okay.
And that there's flaws in all these studies.
Oh.
And they're pointing out that red meat isn't so bad for you. And even though everyone's told you to cut it out for
Ever.
longer than this veganism thing's been cool.
Right. Definitely.
That go ahead and eat red meat. It's fine. We were wrong.
Yeah.
The correlations.
Do you think that it's possibly a coincidence that like the rise of, fake meat like Beyond Beef has been so incredible that possibly this study's coming out because someone was like, fuck, like red meat needs to strike back?
Yeah. So My usual go-to when it comes to these articles is the Physicians Committee for, what's it called?
Ethical,
Responsible medicine. Yeah,
something.
It's my go-to because they're the big heavy hitters. Dr. Neil Barnard's one of my favorites, but these are like, this is the big time, like you could almost call them interest group for veganism, like professional to a T's doctors
They're just
fighting
super smart
in Washington, like they're pushing
Yeah.
really hard to get a lot of things changed on the political level. But anyways, I went to them for like their response to this, and of course they had
They
a
were
great
like,
one.
fuck that.
But before I even got to that, I'm reading this New York Times article. So this is the like where it all
Started.
I think. I mean, a lot of people publish this, but New York Times is the one that I kept seeing.
The whistleblower.
Oh God, don't get me started. But it's funny. The headline is "Eat Less Red Meat," scientists said. Now, some believe that was bad advice. The evidence is too weak to justify telling individuals that less beef and pork, according to new research. The findings erode public trust, critics said. So they do in the sub-headlines say that there are critics of this. Mm-hmm. But this... I'll get right to the point here. Yeah, this sexy
clickbait.
title.
Is that not like so upsetting that the New York Times used to be like reputable? They used to be.
Yeah.
I know of this from growing up. Like, you know, you trusted what they had to say.
Yeah,
but
I used
now,
to get, so like my dad used to like
get the newspaper,
get the New York Times delivered to his house. I don't know how that worked. Was it?
You can do that. You
you
can do that now
How does it get there?
by a newspaper guy.
From New York?
No, because like the CVS down the street gets them.
How the same day? I don't know how that works.
But
Sorry.
Living in like.
Well, like I used to be a paper
80s?
delivery guy. The printing press down the street printed that thing and dropped it on my porch. Thing was like still hot.
Did you
like shit happened at 2 a.m. that was in the
paper? Did you have a
paper.
printing press down the street from you?
Wait a
Did you watch? Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. You're saying that you like watch the newspapers come off of the printing press?
I've seen it.
I've
been in there.
You're clearly misunderstood.
Why?
You saw the printing press.
The Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, it's a building downtown
that prints papers.
Newspapers.
Yes.
Did I go in there with my burlap satchel and my hat and gather them
No,
and then throw them and
they
be like,
brought them,
Mrs. Donaldson, wake up?
They brought them to me.
Oh my God.
Put them on my front porch.
I can't with this. Your selective memories. Anyways, the New York
a paper boy for 6 years before I was fired.
Yeah. The New York Times was a reputable source, but this is upsetting that this is the story that they're running, and they're running it just so poorly.
Yeah, print
media.
media.
I'm going to predict this right now, that there's going to be a wave of new media. That no, I'm telling you,
there is a wave.
What's the new wave?
Like hold on, guys. Hold on to your hats. Don't tell anyone. I think newspapers are going out of style.
That's not what I mean.
I think we're going to turn to maybe the internet and social media for our media from now on.
That's not what I mean. I mean that there's going to be a wave of unbiased media.
Oh, okay.
Like there's every single media has some sort of
clickbaity.
Well, no, it has some sort of agenda.
Yeah.
What is it called? Narrative. You know.
So I hate the word narrative.
Yeah, I think that not social media, but the media in general, like everyone is backed by someone who has some sort of ties to something.
Yeah,
so
that was the first thing that was pointed out by this is a private company that did this. So
but they're not private. No one's private. Like, what are you talking about? The people that did the study.
I'm saying this wasn't done by like the U.S. government. And even if it was, that's tainted by private companies. But saying
but like what company,
we don't know exactly where this came from.
Okay, but what company is like, you know what we should do? Let's test to see if red meat is actually not that bad. Like that's a really weird hypothesis to start with.
Yeah, it is.
There's so many other things you could probably test.
It's funny I'm gonna start
a media company, unbiased.
Actually,
Unbiased media.
so I haven't listened to it. Do you like Geraldo Rivera?
I mean, I like his mustache.
We all like Geraldo, right?
Yeah,
He's been through like every news source.
he does.
But he's been a Fox News contributor lately. But he has some advertisements running that he has a podcast. And he was
About
like,
being unbiased?
yeah, he was saying like, all I've ever been told in media is, you know, you got to take a big stand one way or the other. And his podcast is called like
I just want the facts.
Down the Middle.
That's really smart. So like,
And not just the facts. He's taking an objective look at everything. And I think Geraldo's always done that. He's going to take a hard opinion on things.
yeah, but he's going to tell you one way or the other?
It's not going to be down a line. It's not going to be all conservative or all liberal.
No, okay.
It's going to be his opinion on how he sees things, but it goes back and forth. And he's an immigrant. You know,
where's he from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Geraldo?
Yeah. Oh, that's a ethnic name.
Hispanic.
Anyways, this is really off topic, but I feel like as a teacher that it's ingrained in me, and that was like a real like soft spot with being a teacher and being a social studies teacher, because we're talking like it was my job to tell a student these are the different viewpoints on all these different things.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the viewpoints. I'm not going to tell you one way or another. And I know you teach that way because I've had kids be like, he likes this guy, he doesn't like this guy. Like so I know you've confused them on your actual political beliefs. But like I think the media should be unbiased, and it's clearly not. But it's
a weird thing.
It's upsetting though, because like as a teacher, one of the forefront values I had was teach unbiasedly. And when I was a teacher, I saw a ton of teachers. They didn't teach like that. They just assumed their kids believed a certain way, and they would teach to that. And that's like morally, to me, that's so wrong. It's so wrong, because it's not your job to teach a student what to believe. It's to teach them that they should have their own thoughts, that here's what's, laid out here. Take what is going on in your little head and run with it.
And yeah, and I've always done that, and I feel like I've done it well, but I've always done it in this world of this is just how you do it. It never even occurred to me to do it otherwise. But were you ever taught that? We're both trained to be social studies teachers.
I feel like
when you were in college and all those classes, did they ever say like
you should teach unbiasedly?
Yeah, like you're going to be teaching political stuff. Teach it objectively.
No,
I don't know. I guess
no. I don't think I was. I don't think I was, but I think it was.
I was never taught how to teach anything political either. I was only taught like how to teach history.
Yeah, that's true. No, I don't think I was taught that.
That could be political,
but
too.
I think it is just like a core value. I don't think
Shouldn't
it's
have to be
I don't
taught
think it's teachers' job to tell someone what to think.
No, not at all.
That's like,
but why
that should be on like the forefront of like when a teacher becomes a teacher. Like, it's not your job to tell students what to think. It's your job to lay it out there for them, and they pick up this point, they pick up this opinion, they pick up this, they do this, and they move forward. I probably
have more like solid, like ingrained political bias than I should.
Oh, yeah, you're crazy.
And I still, not even for a second,
relay that
want
in
to
your
reflect
teaching.
That to my kids. But it's just weird to me that I feel
As
like in college, that's all it is. That's like all college is, either one way or the other. I did have some conservative professors, a teeny small percentage, but I never really had anybody that, and again, I wasn't learning a lot of political things in college, but I don't know. It's just weird to me
that's why we were drawn to each other. Because there's not.
I just like to think that that's how it is.
I don't think it is.
But it's not. Yeah, I remember. Well, no. So like, I became a social studies teacher because there's a guy. Everyone has their story of a teacher that whatever inspired them. I don't know if I'm that guy anymore to any kids.
I don't think you are.
No, I am. But this guy inspired me to be a teacher, and he was a social studies teacher, and he was very impressionable. And as I finished up college, I still was in contact with him, and we started hanging out. I started going to bars with him. He would come over and like drink, and we'd smoke cigarettes and talk about stuff. And I always say to him, like, I can't believe, like, I never understood how you are politically. And he was like, are you kidding me? He's like, I feel like I ingrained that every day. Like, he's like, I'm openly biased to my students constantly. And I was like, really? So either one, I wasn't paying attention, or two, he didn't really understand that he wasn't putting that out there.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Very weird. But
the media is not.
On this subject, and nobody will understand this unless you listen to this.
What?
Carl Azuz, CNN 10.
Azul.
So there's a show.
He's unbiased, right?
He's the most unbiased I've ever seen in any media source whatsoever. CNN 10. I think
we talked about this before.
I think we probably have. Google CNN 10.
If you're a teacher out there,
or
you should use it.
Even if you're a human, even if you're a very deeply political, you think you understand everything. They put out this thing it's called CNN 10. It's 10 minutes a day of news directed for high school students, and it's incredibly objective, and I watch it every single day, and I teach politics. I know it's objective, and it is, but you've seen this guy.
Yeah.
How old do you think Carl
is?
And I'm sorry, this is not that relatable
42.
to most people who are listening to us right
42.
now. But if you're anywhere near a computer,
go look up Carl Azul.
Go to it.
How old is he?
Just Google CNN 10.
Okay, we all got it. CNN 10.
And I want you to see his face one more time.
Oh, he's balding. 47.
He is, as of October 3rd, right now, 29 years old.
Oh, Carl.
Is that unbelievable?
Oh,
Sorry, so we'll move on. But anyways, this guy looks like he's in his 40s. But either way, if you want some good news,
29,
politically,
what an accomplished guy.
He's. I read an article today on him. He's worth several $1 million. He makes a couple $100,000 a year, and he does 10 minutes a day. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he does a lot more work. Like this podcast is an hour, but we worked 4 or 5 hours on it.
Right.
We actually kind of do work hard on these.
Obviously.
But anyways, media, New York Times, the meat thing. Today, it's really hard to find good objective media.
It's funny because, God, this is just all talking about the media, I guess. But
no, it's kind of what this article is about.
So if you're in America, which some of you guys aren't, but like Fox News is the very conservative media outlet, and then CNN's a very liberal media outlet. So Jimmy and I will watch Fox News and then CNN. We just like bounce back and forth.
It's fun to do that.
Yeah, because it's like to see how they interpret.
Especially like the big events happening, like
like the impeachment.
Or
like CNN is like, we've got him, and Fox's News is like, this is bullshit. Like it's fun to bounce and back and forth or whatever. But we were watching Fox News, and this guy was talking about this article, and he was like, he was saying that he agrees with the article.
Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
Or the doctor. He had,
and he was like, I agree with the article. I think I never like to take just one study and run with that as my opinion. But he was referring to the studies previously done that said that red meat were not good for you.
There's like 80.
Yeah, and that's what he lost me there, because like he was like, well, I don't know the validity of the studies, and they were done a long time ago, and I don't know the variables, blah blah blah. But then I'm like thinking in my head, like the China study was based on like red meat, right? There was parts of it.
Yes.
Besides just the dairy aspect, they studied red meat too, right?
Yeah. And it's the biggest nutritional study in the history of the universe, and arguably the most accurate.
Yeah.
And it led to these same conclusions.
Right.
But
he was also like an overweight doctor. And I know we were talking about this earlier, but I have a real problem. Because, like, I know what worked for me, and obviously we've talked about this before, but, I know what works for you, Jimmy, I know what works for me, I know what works for my family, I know what works for other people around me that have become vegan, is that, proof's in the pudding, I guess. And so, like, you can show, tell me this study or whatever, but I just know that I'm not going to eat red meat, and I know health-wise, like, it's a better choice for me. And this doctor was overweight, and he's like, oh, I recommend eating a steak, just not every day. I'm like, really?
Just have some extra salad with it, he said.
Yeah, like I'm like, you got like 30 pounds extra on you. So I don't know if I'm going to take doctor's orders on that, you know? Tell me, like, let me know when you look like Garth Davis. Okay, we'll talk. Okay? You know?
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of this. And it's weird, like, that guy was on Tucker Carlson and said, Lisa and I, we get it all. But it
little
seems
MSNBC.
like conservative media.
PBS are fake.
Like everything has to be political. So veganism has to be liberal.
It is.
And meat eating has to be conservative.
Well, the current the current Democratic candidates, a couple of them are vegan.
Yeah.
But that's so
Cory Booker's vegan.
Well, but that's so stupid to me is that like they did like clips of like, you know, Cory Booker's going to take your hamburgers. And then it was sensationalized by Fox News and conservative media that were like, Cory Booker's going to take your hamburgers. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And but then Cory Booker's just a bitch because he was asked about it. And he was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not taking your hamburgers. And it's like, dude, you either are or you aren't.
Well, yeah,
stand up for it.
And don't say you're not going to take your hamburgers, but you're on a national stage.
Use your platform.
Let's be honest. You're a long shot for getting the nomination. At least this time around. Maybe someday down the line. And you're asked,
but be true to your morals.
Elected president, are you going to try to get rid of burgers? And his response is, no. Let me say that in Spanish. No.
Yeah.
But in 30 seconds, he could have said, absolutely not. My job as president is not to dictate what people eat, but I particularly think it's not good for this environment. It's not good for the country. It's not good for our health to be consuming this at high levels. That's all he had to say, but he did puss out on that one.
Yeah, he did. That's super annoying.
And that's why Donald Trump is president, though, because he didn't have any of those moments where it was like, ooh, is this politically positive right now? He was just boom. Here's me, take it or leave it.
He tweeted bullshit the other day.
And I loved telling my students that today.
It was on the Today Show, which was funny because
they put it up too, right?
They put it up, but then in a later segment, they blurred out the word, and they were oh my God, they were so dramatic about it, and they were like, in a recent tweet by the president. Actually, they don't even call him the president. They go, in a recent tweet by Mr. Trump, he used an expletive we won't use on national television.
Oh my gosh!
And then the next one was like, hey, this weekend how to get your bitches in line and ready to get to the club. You know, like
we should do a political show every week. There's been a couple funny things that happened today politically.
I'm sure.
But so the meat thing has become what hasn't become politically polarizing. But let's take it back. In this original article, by the fifth paragraph, it says it hits up the physicians.
Oh, really? They reference it? The committee?
Yeah. So the
PCRM?
Fifth paragraph, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, a group advocating a plant-based diet, on Wednesday filed a petition against this journal with the Federal Trade Commission.
And to say that it was bullshit.
Yes. Not only was it bullshit, they were saying that this, you are causing incredible harm to people.
Oh.
By saying this is okay. This is like
unethical.
putting an article out being like,
hey, cigarettes
aren't so bad. That's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
And there are articles. My dad had one cut out and he put it on our refrigerator.
That said the red meat wasn't bad?
No, cigarettes.
Oh my God.
It was on our refrigerator for 4 years of my life that secondhand smoke is a farce and that it's bullshit. And
I don't want to speak illy of your father.
I don't necessarily disagree with him, to be honest, because I grew up literally smoking 10 packs of secondhand smoke a day.
Didn't you smoke?
But I started smoking. I'm not saying smoking's good for you. I'm saying I don't think my lungs are damaged from growing up in a household of other people smoking.
Did we not just start the show for 20 minutes about how sick you were and how your sinuses were screwed up?
That could have been from me smoking, but I don't know if that was from secondhand smoke. Maybe it was. I don't know.
No, I don't know. But
But
your sinuses
anyways,
are screwed up.
I'm
We're
just
getting that
saying
fixed.
there's a way to argue anything.
Yes, 100%.
And this article on my refrigerator as a child is long before the internet.
Yeah.
This stuff just ends up out there. But when it gets put out there, blasted as a headline everywhere, that's kind of dangerous.
It is because people are gullible and they're going to listen.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be put out like that either. Like the way they explain it. So their justification in this article was that a lot of the science is based on like observational studies. They're not like the China study was actual hard data tracking how people ate and lived because it was done under like communist regime where it was like people feared for their lives and they were very honest and tracked and blah blah blah.
Oh,
where a lot of these studies are not. They're
was like, what did you eat today?
Yes.
Oh, if someone said, what did you eat today? I would be like, well, I started my day off with a half a cup of oats.
Yeah.
With berries and raw almonds. Yeah.
I had a cheeseburger, but it was from my grandpa's farm.
Yeah.
He only raises cows on grass.
Right. I wouldn't.
He planted himself.
I wouldn't be truthful,
Yeah.
Like if they're like, how many glasses of wine would you have today? And I was like, like 2 times 3.
But they're also, but a lot of like the studies that say meat is more dangerous are observational studies also.
Right.
So they're making that point too.
I can tell you,
and they're
correlation,
saying, like,
observational, ergo, facto, meat's bad for you, don't eat it. Bada bing, bada boom, it's done.
End of the story. But also and this makes sense, this part of it, that like there is this macho vibe to meat eaters. And if you claim that you eat a lot of meat, you might also be, so like we have a guy.
Doesn't that sound a little queer now that I'm hearing you? I eat a lot of meat. Okay.
Well, I'm saying, okay.
Go on with your bad self. You
Okay,
eat that meat.
Well, like I work with a guy who at lunch every day cooks a burger on a skillet in the teacher's lounge on a stove from like 1950s. So like that dude is probably super unhealthy. But, if you're tracking that this guy eats a burger every day, your data might not be showing that he also is drinking an extra large Coke and eating French fries.
Who's this? The librarian?
Our football coach.
Oh.
We can say his name.
No, we won't.
Because it's amazing.
What, Cat?
No. BJ Queen.
Oh. God, don't put his name out there like that.
BJ Queen.
His name is BJ Queen.
Just kidding. He's a nice dude, and I love you, BJ.
Oh, he's a really nice guy.
But your name's not even BJ. He goes by BJ.
Yeah. What's his first name?
If your last name's Queen, I mean,
wasn't it
this out, but it's just too amazing.
But wasn't it like not even? It was like
it's like Bernard or something.
Right. Like he could go by like Bert, but he was like no.
It could be anything, even if it was BJ.
I like BJ.
What's your last name? Queen.
BJ Queen. I remember because he like took my position when I left, and I was like, wait a second.
Oh, nice
BJ
guy.
Queen is taking over for me.
Really nice guy, but he likes. He likes to eat a burger. And
I was like, it's fine. I don't like doing that anyways.
But I don't even want to use him as an example. I'm saying people who eat burgers, we don't know what else they're eating. We don't know what else they're smoking. So these studies might not be that accurate.
They're probably eating that awful bun that's just full of terrible things.
But there's a billion studies, not a billion, but there's a great amount of studies that are not observational, that are based on pure data and facts that show that all of this is really bad for you. It causes cancer. It causes heart disease. It causes long, slow, chronic illnesses that aren't just like, oh, I'm not going to eat red meat because I don't want to die someday. It's like you're going to die slowly. Yeah. Maybe over a 20, 30-year period. Your dick's not going to work anymore. Your brain's going to slow down. Your knees are going to hurt. Like you're just going to slowly whittle away. And that none of that's really
talked about
or studied or data's analyzed.
No.
It's like, just eat. You can eat some more red meat now.
Besides
this one headline that went out.
This podcast in my new unbiased media called I don't really or it should be 3 letters. All the good ones are 3 letters. Unbiased Media Network.
Okay.
UMN. UMN. That sounds great.
Better than
UMN. Anyways, besides this, I don't really feel like convincing people anymore. You know, if you guys are stupid enough to eat it, just fucking eat it.
Yeah. Aside from the podcast, I'm not in day to day. I'm just like, sure.
No,
go ahead.
I say that, but it's not true. I still get so mad.
Well, if someone's interested, I'm gladly gonna pile on, and like I have to stop myself from trying to spew too much at them. But if you're gonna not be interested, then whatever. It's not my problem. But it's funny. So like,
but it is. It is. You know, we pay for it in healthcare.
Oh yeah, that's true. It is our problem.
Yeah, I mean,
healthcare more than anything. I mean, environmentally,
we pay for the environment.
But I feel like that's gonna work itself out eventually.
The environment? Oh,
yeah.
Just because of like the demand.
It's just gonna have to. But healthcare, DJ talked about this on our last podcast. This is a business feeding a business. You know, like we're gonna keep you unhealthy.
There's no business in getting
and then we're
healthy.
gonna take care of you with drugs, and then that's gonna keep you alive, so you can keep buying this unhealthy thing that need more drugs. It's so that's not gonna give.
No, it's just
especially if we have misinformation like this.
It's just like
garbage.
the Iran-Contra or
no, don't even
exposure of
that'll be
crack.
our next podcast.
Just kidding. All right.
Going back to we'll finish with this, the clickbait thing. I put into Google, eat red meat, and then I clicked the news tab.
Uh-huh.
And I started scrolling down, and it's all this.
Pornhub popped up.
No, I did not get Pornhub.
And it was me.
I have all those settings turned off.
Do you?
No.
I didn't know that was like a settings thing.
You can.
I wouldn't be surprised. You're not into porn.
No, but porn doesn't show up on the things that I search. If it did, maybe I would turn that off.
You don't search like red meat and like just some penises pop up.
Red meat in my buns.
Oh my God.
So all these stories, the whole first page is eat red meat. Maybe not so bad. Is beef that bad? Beef and bacon, are they healthy?
Oh my God.
And there are all these different articles. And then you go to page 2 and it's like cut down.
Red meat. Actually
it's
bad.
Like, is red meat? And then, yes. And then it's like.
Turns out it is.
No need to eat red meat. And then so these are all from 3 days ago. Page 3 gets into like a month ago. And it's like, maybe we should eat less red meat. Eating chicken and meat, high risk of cancer. Are Democrats going to take away meat? CNN, changing your eating habits could mean a longer life. Increasing meat consumption tied to higher risk of death. So like a week ago and a month ago, all of these same like New York Times, they're all like, it's all just like
one little.
What's sexy at that one moment.
That's
so
upsetting. You really have to have some serious goggles on when you're out there in the world.
Yeah.
Figuring out what's what.
And I don't think we talk enough about how
you don't think we talk enough?
Amazing and badass the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine is.
They are.
Because they're not only like just countering this stuff on social media, they're going to Washington and
they're
saying
direct,
like,
they're educated.
You are a hazard on. They're more than articulate. They're actually like banging on congressmen's doors saying like, you are causing danger to people.
Yeah.
Like the president's talking about how we shouldn't be vaping because like 16 kids died. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
but
like
how many people are dying from
16,000
this?
kids are obese because they're eating the freaking pyramid that you fucking put out, and you feed them in their lunch every day, and their school free lunches that I pay for. I'm sorry, my tax dollars pay for this student's school lunch dictated by what the government lobbied by, what the meat and dairy and whoever else council decided needs to be in this pyramid, and this food, this lunch is making students stupid, slow, inactive, upset, depressed. It's a thing, and yet I'm paying for it all.
And then they go
I'm sorry, is that not like so incredibly fucked up?
Yeah, and then they get home from school and dad's cracking open the New York Times
and he's like, red meat's not too bad.
Eat some red meat. And dad's like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine.
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty fucked up.
Okay.
But there are some good people out there fighting the fight.
There are. And you just got to stay informed.
We're doing our best with the podcast. But
you got to stay informed. You just got to keep, as I told my mom yesterday when she just wasn't listening to me, you got to keep that third eye open. Do you know what that means?
No. I can think of a few dirty things,
Oh
but
my gosh. No, your third eye is just, it's like, when they're like, you keep your ear to the streets.
yeah, like extra sense,
Yeah,
like,
but like you keep your ear to the streets, like you know what's going on. Your third eye is just, it's like your street smarts, but like in a spiritual form.
I feel you.
That makes sense.
Well, that's why I tell my students you have to be detectives.
Oh, that's a good one.
You can't watch TV as like I'm
Taking
absorbing
what they're saying.
information.
No.
You have to watch it as if everything you're saying is full of shit, and I'm the detective trying to figure out what's actually happening.
I watch
here.
all social media.
Yeah,
You are. I think in my head, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And then like when they say something, I'm like, that's hard to say that's full of shit. Then I'm like, that was a good point.
It's more work. Even like this, like I've read a lot of different perspectives. Even the horseshoe thing.
Yeah.
I read very positive articles about it, very negative, and I had to weed through it. It's more work for us these days. But we have more access to the truth. It's in there.
Not at UMN though. UMN.
Lisa's new media company.
Yep, I'm gonna start an unbiased media company.
What's the delivery format of it? It's gonna be like in the Rick every morning. You slide it into your cutting board, like you're cutting up carrots. And
yeah, my newspaper stories are like just that size. No, it's
hot
gonna
off
be
the press,
it's
laminated.
I'm gonna send boys out to the corners, and they're gonna ring a bell, and they're gonna open up they're gonna open up a scroll and read today's top stories.
Like a soapbox.
Here he.
There's a couple like email media outlets, like a daily email that's like a really not dumbed down, but a really simplified version of the news. Have you heard of this?
I have.
I don't know what it's called, but I've seen a couple of them.
What's like the most cutting edge social media this day?
Like the
Instagram?
coolest shit right now?
Is it Instagram?
No.
TikTok?
It is.
That's just pictures.
TikTok is it.
Okay.
So was freaking Instagram.
That's a good point.
TikTok is the next one.
Okay.
Trust me.
I'm just going to take...
Gary V told me.
This is it. And then we're going to close. This is the UMN. As I'm going to take news stories from Fox News and news stories from CNN. And then I'm going to put them together. And I'm going to be like, you decide your opinion.
They said this. They said that.
Yep.
Okay. Let's start a TikTok.
And I'll be like, Lisa says this.
Can you make a Lisa Beats Your Meat TikTok?
Okay, we have to go. So, thanks for listening. Subscribe. Follow us.
Damn, these are getting longer and longer.
I wish I could say the same thing. Others.
For what?
The other activities we do together.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Special creams and stuff.
Thanks for listening. Please follow us. I don't know what else I said, but that's it. So we'll be back, right?
Somebody give us a rating on iTunes already.
All right. Good night.
Bye. Hour and 20 minutes. It's the recording.
Get back into bed.
All right. TV's off.
TV's turned off. Get back into bed. Get back into bed. Get back into bed.
No, it's over. It's over.
Go back into bed, Bob. Oh, I'm sorry. You can go watch one more show. You get into bed right now.